Hello everyone and welcome to our match preview on Football Talk podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for this evening. After dropping points on the weekend against Fulham, Liverpool will be ready to go back to winning ways, and what a game to do as we embark in facing Southampton in the Carabao Cup Quarter-Finals. It's all Premier League teams at this stage of the cup competition, and Liverpool will be facing Southampton at St Mary's Stadium. Now, if you recall, we faced the Saints around 3 weeks ago and just about nicked the win with a 3-2 victory with Mohamed Salah scoring the match winner. But it will be a different affair this time around. From a Southampton point of view, there's no Russell Martin, who unfortunately faced the sack over the weekend after losing 5-0 to Spurs. So now they have an interim manager by the name of Simon Rusk in place for the short term. So it will be slightly different to predict how our opposition will set up, as Simon Rusk may have a different philosophy or different way of playing. So it'll be interesting test for Liverpool nonetheless. For Liverpool, games are coming thick and fast. Pause. So this could be the time to rest some important players or rotate to give other squad players some minutes under their belts, but also present an opportunity for some of the youngsters to play first team football. So an interesting counter nonetheless. So what we'll do now is we'll present the team news and see who is available for this fixture. For Southampton, Ramsdale is expected to return after being out with an injury in the last few weeks. Stephens, the centre-back, is still serving his final game from his 3-match ban, so he's not available for this fixture. But Bednarek should be available after returning to the team over the weekend. For Liverpool, McAllister is available for selection after serving his bans in the Premier League and Champions League. Jota made his return over the weekend and scored a fantastic goal against Fulham. But Arne Slot confirmed today in the press conference that he's not fully fit, but still may get some game time nonetheless. And that is also the same situation with Chiesa, who's back in training and will most likely be involved in this fixture. Also, good news for Liverpool is that Tsimikas is back in training, and this fixture maybe too soon at this stage for his return, but it's still positive as we do have another left back in our squad now. In terms of other injuries, Bradley and Konate are still sidelined and should be back in around 3 weeks' time from what I gather. So that is the team news from a Liverpool point of view. So what we'll do now is we'll present a graphic and we can predict the lineup, and we'll start with the home team, and that is Southampton. So let's bring up the screen for you guys. There you go. So I think if they still had Russell Martin as their manager, they may have rotated the squad a little bit on the basis that they've got other upcoming games in the Premier League. But with the sacking of the manager, I feel like the morale is quite low at Southampton, and the fans need a boost in some shape or form. You already saw the footage against the match on the weekend, against Tottenham. Fans were walking out after 2-3-0. So they need something to cheer about. And even though Simon Rusk might not be their long-term solution, he still needs to try and get the team back to winning ways, or at least show a bit of fight to give the fans something to cheer about. So for me, I think Southampton will field a strong team. In other circumstances, maybe they'll rotate the squad a little bit more, but I think they're going to really present the strongest team available that they have. So for me, even though Ramsdale's just returned from injury, I think he'll start in this fixture because one of the reasons of Southampton's downfall is their goalkeeping department. They had Alex McCarthy, who we faced not so long ago. He was pretty woeful in that game and has been in other games that I've seen. So they'll certainly need a safe pair of hands, and the Ramsdales will certainly bring that for this team. I think they're going to go for 4-5-1 formation. They have played different variations this year. They've played a 5-4-1 formation, played a 4-3-3 at times. They've played a 4-2-3-1. So for me, I think they're going to go back to old school ways and play a back four, but at the same time flood the midfield and try and make it difficult for Liverpool to break down. So for me, at right back, it will be Kyle Walker-Peters. I think he's their best player in that position. They do have Sugawara, who is a good fullback, but I think he's been a bit hit and miss this season, so they'll probably go for Kyle Walker-Peters in terms of his experience and his know-how in terms of what to do from a right back position. And on the other side, I think it'll be Manning. I know Ryan Fraser surprisingly started against us in the fixture a few weeks ago, but that's not really his position. So I think they'll go back to an orthodox left back in Manning. And in the centre back positions, you've got Harold Bellis. I spelled his name wrong. There we go. Harold Bellis at centre back alongside Bednarek, who has just returned from injury. So the strongest centre back pairing I think they've probably got in their team. And I think it's a decent back line as well. In terms of the midfield, they're star boy right now. And no surprise for me because I've seen him in action during the season. I was really impressed. But obviously when he stepped up against Liverpool, I think that raised a lot of eyebrows. He was really good. And I'm referring to Dibbling, a player that I'm sure a lot of teams will be after. Whether it's in the January window or in the summer window, he's very, very talented player, very good, and had a fantastic game against us a few weeks ago. So he'll start in the right wing position. On the other wing, I think they'll stick with Armstrong. Not his natural position, playing in that role, but I do remember him causing issues on the counter attack on that side. So I think he'll be utilised for that purpose in this fixture as well. In terms of their midfield three, I'm going to go for Fernandez, who scored a goal against us as well. Fernandez, where is he? There he is. Fernandez over there. And it's going to be Downs through the middle. I was contemplating it could be a different profile, but I think for this fixture, you need a bit of stability in that middle of the park. And I think Downs certainly brings that. So for me, he will start in this fixture. Can play an interesting role where he drops a little bit deeper and ends up being more of a sweeper in terms of plays in between the centre back. So if that's required, then they can form a back five and then he can kind of spray passes around. But for me, the starting position will be in the centre of midfield. And then alongside him will be Aribo, box-to-box player, has a decent shot on him and can certainly have a attacking presence from midfield. So that is the midfield five. And the player that I'm going up top for, they've got a few strikers. They've got Burton Diaz, they've got Cameron Archer, but the guy that played against us, and I think that was his debut as well, and he certainly causes havoc. Tall striker, good on the ball, but very dominant in terms of the air, and his physical presence was definitely on show. So I'm going for Anuachu, striker that played against us not so long ago. Anuachu, I hope I spelled his name correctly. There is a Nigerian striker. I think he'll start in this game as well because he caused us so many issues. I think the interim manager will utilize that and pretty much go again with the similar tactics. The only difference is that I feel like they've got a more emphasis on that having a midfield that will run for the team as well. With Downs in that position, I think they would definitely add a bit of stability, but also with Bednarek back in the team, they've got experience and leadership qualities in that back line. So this, I think, will be the strongest team that they can probably field right now. And I feel like they're trying to get that good field factor back at the St. Mary's. So this is my predicted lineup for Southampton. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you guys think in terms of players to look out for. There's quite a few, to be fair. Dibbling, who I mentioned to you, and is a stand-up player. He will cause havoc on that right wing. Really strong as well. So whoever's playing left back needs to make sure they're on top of the game. Mateus Nunes, Fernandez. He looks like Mateus Nunes in that picture. Fernandez is an interesting player. Box to box, can score goals as well. So I think he's someone we need to be wary of. Onuachu I mentioned. I don't think he's a goal threat as such, but I think his hold-up play will be key in terms of bringing other players, the likes of Fernandez, the likes of Aribo, who are more box to box. So he will definitely play a part. And I think during the game, they will have some variation in their formation. So if they feel like having two strikers up top might, present a bit of a nuisance to our Liverpool defense, then they could go with this kind of formation, and it will certainly work because Aribo's left-footed, can play on that left wing if required. Not left wing, but more of a left midfielder. So he's not really going up and down too much. He's just occupying that left side of the pitch. And likewise, Dibbling will have a bit more free roll, cutting inside. So that could be another variation that they can go with in a 4-4-2 if the coach is thinking a bit adventurous, which I don't expect to see, but you just never know sometimes. Or like earlier on, as I mentioned, they can be a bit more defensive minded. And if they feel like they need to add another body at the back, it will be Downs who drops in, and then you've got your midfield here. Instead of the centre of the park, not the most defensive minded Aribo Fernandez, but with an extra body in the back line, you're using these players to create counter attacks or add that creative spark in the center of the pitch. So for me, that will be the different variations. So they'll start with a 4-5-1, but I think they can switch up to 4-4-2 if they want to really go for the goal, or if they're thinking, this is going to be a tough night for us, let's be a bit more defensively sound, they can drop to a back five, and that would be the setup right now. So that is the current lineup that I have. So let me go back to my original lineup there. So 4-5-1 formation, and these are the players that I believe will start. So feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Now I'll move on to the Liverpool lineup, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to say with regards to this one. So I don't think Alisson will start in this fixture. This is the one where he will be rested, with one eye on our upcoming fixture in the Premier League, which is against Tottenham this Sunday. So that's a big game coming up. So I don't expect Arsenal to go hugely strong in a fixture, but I think there will be some senior players that will be required due to lack of numbers, especially in the defense. So for me, Kelleher gets a place in the team. So he'll start in this fixture for me. I personally wouldn't play Trent. He had a terrible game against Fulham in the weekend. So I feel like it might be worth just resting him a little bit and then try and make sure he's ready for the game against Tottenham. So this might not be a popular choice, but I'm going to go for Joe Gomez at right back, and alongside him is Kwanzaa. I know Kwanzaa's not had the best of form in recent weeks, but unfortunately we don't have too many options in that centre back position. So Kwanzaa for me starts in defence alongside Van Dijk. I wouldn't have wanted to have started Van Dijk in an ideal world. If everyone's fully fit, I would have gone for a Gomez and Kwanzaa centre back pairing with Bradley on the right hand side. But as you know, Bradley is not available, neither is Konate. So we're a little bit thin in that department. So for me, that would be the pairing I'd go for. The reason I started with Van Dijk is because I think having an experienced figure like that in the back line should ease the pressure on Kwanzaa. If it was just Joe Gomez and Kwanzaa and then maybe Trent on the right back, I don't think that's going to add a good balance. I feel like having a leader like Virgil alongside Kwanzaa will help him guide him throughout the game, and hopefully, make him play a bit more not too adventurous in terms of going further up, but being more of a defensive-minded player in this game where, it's all about defending when required. So also having experienced players alongside him should, do him well in this fixture. So for me, having Van Dijk is quite important. And if Simicast was fully fit, I would have gone for him in this fixture, but I'm going to stick with Robertson with this one, and maybe have Simicast starting on the weekend, depending how far he is in his development, or should I say, not development, rehabilitation, because I'm not sure how long it is until he's fully fit. He's just started training today, I believe. He did do light training over the weekend, from what I remember, but that was just, I think, him just doing a few drills. With this comment that came from Arnold earlier this morning, he said that he's in full training now. So hopefully that will benefit the team, because yeah, we've missed him because he was in great form before that injury. So hopefully he can rediscover and find that rhythm once again. So for me, Robertson starts in this one. So that is my back line. In terms of the midfield, I'm going for Endo. He's definitely not Arne Slot's cup of tea by 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 any thought of the imagination, but he needs to rotate the squad. So he did mention him in the press conference today. So it just gave me that inkling that he expects him to play, have some minutes on his belt, maintain some level of match fitness, because he could be called upon whenever required. So for me, Endo will start in this fixture, and alongside him will be McAllister. McAllister has been out of action for about a week and a half, and that's due to having two suspensions, one in the Premier League and one in the Champions League. So he's fully fit and he's probably raring to go. So if he was playing in those games, then I'd probably rotate him in this one. But if he hasn't played for like 10 or so days, he's probably itching to get on the pitch. So why not embed him in this game and then have him fully ready for the game against Tottenham? I wouldn't want to start him in Tottenham and not have him involved in this fixture because he might not be match fit. So for me, get a bit of that fitness back and then be fully ready for the game against Tottenham. So for me, McAllister starts in this fixture. And in the number 10 role, I'm going to go for Curtis Jones. Sobozda has been fantastic in the recent weeks, don't get me wrong, but I think we may just need to, rotate, rest him for this fixture and save him for the game against Tottenham. So for me, Curtis Jones will start in this fixture. On the right side, went through options earlier on when I was coming up with my lineup. I had Diaz there at one point, but I've actually gone for Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott would have started in the number 10 role for me. But I think in this fixture, it might just worth playing him on the right wing so we can rest Mohamed Salah. I don't expect Mohamed Salah to be involved. He will probably be listed on the bench, but I don't expect him to get on at any point of the game. So for me, Elliott plays in that right wing position. So I feel like that add a good balance to the team. On the left side, I'm going to go for Cody Gakpo. Scored always, of course, over the weekend. So maybe continuing that goal scoring form into this fixture and maintaining that rhythm and that sort of goal scoring streak as well. And up top, obviously, Joshua scored a fantastic goal, but he's not fully fit. So I'm going for a Darwin Núñez to lead the line, as I'm expecting possibly Jota to start against Tottenham. Jota, I think, will be involved in this game. He will get minutes, as well as Chiesa, who is training with the full team today and is expected to be available tomorrow evening and for the Tottenham game. So for me, Chiesa and Jota to get some minutes under their belts, and I would rest Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Luis Diaz, and Mohamed Salah. So quite a few rested there. But despite that, I still feel like this is a very strong team. And this is why I keep telling people that Liverpool have a great squad. We have a very strong squad. We do have a lot of quality in every position. Yes, we're missing a few players, but which team isn't? And even so, we can still field a good lineup like this. That, for me, will certainly do a job against Southampton. So this is my predicted lineup. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree or disagree? Would you change any players around? Feel free to let me know. Before we close the show, I will give you my score prediction. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to the Reds, of course. And in terms of the goal scorers, I'm going for Dibbling to score for Southampton And for Liverpool, I'm going for Harvey Elliott and Cody Gakpo. So that's my 2 goal scorers there. But yes, before we close the show, just going to go through some of the comments here. Daz says, big up Ozzy, big up Daz as always. Thank you for your comment. And thank you for tuning in as well. And he has presented his lineup. So let's see what Daz has got. So Daz has gone with Kelleher, Trent, Virgil, Kwanzaa, Robbo, Maka, Jones, Harvey, Diaz, Jota, and Coy. So he's starting with Jota, which, don't get me wrong, I thought Jota was fantastic when he came on the other pitch. Couldn't have done anything more than what he produced. But I also mentioned that he's not fully fit. So just from the impression that I got from Arne Slot, I don't think he wants to start him in this fixture. So you've gone from Maka, Jones, and Harvey. So Harvey in the 10, which is fine. I'm not mad at that one. No Endo, which is a surprise for me. But yeah, in terms of what you've got, it's no sort of huge surprise. Steve says, "Let's go, champ! Let's go, champ!" Indeed, big up yourself, Steve, as always. And that's saying big up to Steve as well. And Steve's lineup is Kelleher, Trent, Gomez, Kwanzaa, under 21 kid. Fair enough. I was thinking maybe we could bring on a youth player in this one, but in a different situation, I probably would have if I had a bit more faith in Kwanzaa. But I just feel like Kwanzaa's having one of those times where form is not on his side and he's not fully focused right now. So I feel like an experienced head alongside him would do him good. But fair enough. And he's gone for Endo. Oh no, you've gone for Kwanzaa, but you've gone for under 21 kids. So I wonder who that is for left back. Who would be the left back one? Scanlon, I believe, is on loan. So do let me know who that kid is because I don't know. Endo, Morton. Oh, Morton. Okay, fine. That's the name I actually totally forgot about. But yeah, that is an option as well. Dominic Szoboszlai, Elliot Nunez, and Dan's. Oh, Dan's would be a great option off the bench. So yeah, definitely expect him to be involved at some point. But yeah, be on yourself. 4-2-3-1 formation there. And then Steve saying hi to Des. Hope you're well. Steve says, Ozzy, I don't care about Saturday 11. I got to do my due diligence. I have to present both teams, but yeah, it's fair enough. That says, could Lallana play against us tomorrow? Yeah, he could. I believe actually he did pick up an injury against us. From what I know, he hasn't played since then. But then when I did my research in terms of team news, there was nothing to suggest that he's not available for this fixture. So he could be available, but I'd probably say he's on the bench. And Steve saying the Nigerian striker is injured. Okay, fine. I wasn't fully aware of that. From what I did in terms of the research, I thought he might be available. But if that's the case, oh, that's a tricky one. Then I think they'd go for Armstrong through the middle. And I don't know if they would, but I do like the look of Sulemana, the Ghanaian left winger. So maybe he can play on the left wing. That'd make a bit more sense. But we'll see. We'll see how they present the team tomorrow. Steve says at Dad's wasteman Lallana injured. Yeah, he got injured against us, so I don't think he's returned since then. So with Lallana being quite injury prone, he's not going to make a quick recovery, in my opinion. So no, I don't expect him to be available. Steve says dribbling Nunez to mark him. Just stop dribbling, cutting in on his bang over left foot. Yeah, he's got a shot on him, that's for sure. Steve says plenty of goals in this game tomorrow. Yeah, I've gone for 2-1 result, so probably not a huge amount of goals, but yeah, I do feel like there'll be goals in this one. That's a Steve. Is Jota fit? And then Dad's response said, Jota did not train today. Muscles are tight, so should be on the bench for 10 minutes, run out. Yeah, so from what Arne Slot said this morning in the press conference, it didn't appear to be the case that he will be starting. I didn't get any of that indication. I do expect him to probably make a cameo towards the latter end of the game. So say 10-20 minutes sounds about right. I don't expect him to start. Me personally, I'd probably rest him for the Tottenham game anyway. So if he's available for that fixture, then it's probably a better one to have him on. He tends to have good games with Tottenham as well. So yeah, I'd rather playing for that one than this one. Abdul Rahim says, hi, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? Many thanks. Welcome assalam to you, Abdul. I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you are good as well. Thank you for tuning in. That says, Ozzy, don't forget Robbo is missing. Is he missing from? Well, is he injured? That's not what I've heard. Is that true? Oh, Robbo is suspended. Why did that not come to my mind? Okay. Okay, that's a bit of a dilemma. I did not realize he was suspended. You are right, guys. He is suspended. Okay. Let me fix my team right away. Oh gosh. Steve, who's the under 21 kid that you were mentioning? Would you play under 21 player at this stage? I have no idea who would bring on. We were very thin. I wouldn't risk Simicast at all. Gosh. Amara Nalo was in the bench the other day, from what I remember. So he's a centre back. Well, that's messed up my team, hasn't it? I have no idea. I have no idea who we played there, to be fair. See, said OZWRLD was suspended. Thank F. Yeah, I know he's not your favorite player, that's for sure. Yeah, let me take him out of the team. So, okay. So he's not available. So who would play left back? This is a dilemma. Okay, this is not going to be a good one because I'm not too sure into how. I know we had some good left backs. We had Scallion who looked decent, but he's out on loan, I believe. Owen Beck is out on loan as well, so we don't really have a lot. Chambers is out on loan as well, so we don't have a lot of options there. Okay. I don't think this kid's on this website I'm using, so let me just do a bit of a. Let me just. Okay. No. I was trying to do something cheeky there. Let me see what I can do. Where is Nalo from? Is Nalo British? Or is he for nationality? No, he's English. Amaro Nalo, so he's how old? 18 years old. That's a bit of a risk to play, I'm not gonna lie. It's a dilemma. Did not realize that Robertson was not available for this fixture. Okay. I'm not playing Trent. So the reason I'm trying to select a player is because I'm just going to. Oh wait, hold on. It's got Trent's face on there. No, I can't do that. Let me start again. Is there a player that doesn't have a face so then I can just add the guy's name? All right, we can use Dan's and McConnell. So I'm gonna use McConnell, and it's going to. I will say play Nalo, but not left back. He's not gonna play left back. So I know that's not the formation you guys want to see. So I'll play Joe Gomez at left back, Virgil van Dijk in the middle, Nalo alongside him, and Kwanzaa at right back. Yeah, it's the only option I can think of right now that will work. So that is my back line, and that's definitely reduced the quality. So yeah, my 2-1 prediction probably sounds about right now. Amirali, we got yourself. Amirali says Robbo's back for Spurs. Steve says Robbo on the bench for Spurs and for the rest of the season. Well, look, if Simicast's back in action, yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. I'll be brutally honest with you. Dad's prediction is 3-2. Darwin 2 goals. Change bubble for Gomez. Yeah, I pretty much done that, but I added Nalo, centre back position there. Darwin 2, Harvey 1 is what Daz is saying. Steve says, our clown fan base have lost their heads on the rumours. Trent asking for 350k. They now want Trent to be sold next month. Our fans are clowns. That is a bit wild from our fan base if that's the case. So I did read earlier on that they've had, I think, 3 contract offers presented on the table for him, as in different occasions, and the valuation is that they're 100k off to what Trent wants. So Trent is currently on 180, and I believe they have increased it by 70k, so that makes it 250, but he's after 350. So I'll be honest with you, he does have a right to present his demands, because he's a player that, let's be honest, we all call him generational talent, right? So if he's an elite player in his position, why can't he earn the top buck? In my opinion, people are quick to say, "Oh, he's a right back. A right back should not be earning this amount of money." But don't just label him as a right back. You know what he brings to the table, guys. He's not just a defensive right back. He is a right back that has amazing playmaking ability. Like, he's a one of one in terms of what he brings to the field. So we can't be so quick to just dismiss these kind of like rumors that we're hearing, because right now there's no truth, or I don't know if there's any valid facts within this sort of information right now. So for me, he has every right to demand what he wants. Now, whether he agrees with the pay package that's been presented or not, look, all we can do as fans is just wait and see, honestly. Do I believe he's worth 350k? In this market, there's so many players that are earning that kind of figure. So he probably is entitled to that amount. I personally think probably 300k is about right. Because once you start giving big contracts like that, it will change the demands from other players when they have contract extensions available. But obviously with Trent, mid-20s, 25 years of age, he's got a long future ahead of him. So 350 is not too crazy, if I'm being honest. But yeah, for fans to say, "Oh, get rid" and all that stuff, I don't know. That's never been my viewpoint. And look, if he was to leave, I don't want him to leave. You guys know this, but if he was to leave, it's very understandable. So let the agents and lawyers and everyone involved do the talking behind the scenes. Just support the player until he is a Liverpool player. Hopefully, he's a long player for years to come. But I wouldn't lose my head over stuff like that. And the thing is, guys, when you see all these tweets and rumors circling online, you have to always take it with a pinch of salt. You can't take it as gospel that this is the truth. It is not the truth. With these contract extensions, one day we'll be told, "Oh, Virgil's going to sign." The next day, "Oh, he's not going to sign." We've heard this for countless amount of times in the last few months. So who are you going to believe? We'll get some clarification in the coming weeks. And I wouldn't say months. It'll probably be more weeks than anything else. So let's just sit tight and wait and see what happens. Right now, I don't really have too much to say on that. I feel like Trent is elite. So for me, he probably deserves that kind of salary. But that's just my opinion. Steve says, our fans think they are paying Trent the 300k from their own pockets. Fans are stupid. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I wouldn't say fans are stupid, but I do feel like fans need to think with a bit of empathy. When I say empathy, that think from a human side. Like, if he's earning this much and he's probably looking at players around his age group in world football that are earning the same kind of money, so why can't he demand for that? Forget he's a right back, because I don't like it when people just try to degrade him by saying he's just a right back. Yes, he is a right back, but to say, "Oh, a right back should not be earning that much money," the game has changed. You shouldn't be spending £100 million on a player like Grealish, because he's not that value of a player. So times have changed. The market's different. It is what it is. So you've got to adapt to what is happening in the market. So I don't buy that. I feel like, look, he might be the highest earned right back in world football, but we all regard him as the best, don't we? So it goes hand in hand. If you think he's the best, then he deserves to be earning top buck. That's just how I see it. Bonkers, big up to yourself, Bonkers. He said Robert suspended for Southampton. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. So I've just tried to change my team around here. I'm not too pleased with it, but that's what I'm going with in terms of my prediction. Ozzie Bozo Robert won't give a pen tomorrow against Centre. Why? He's suspended. Fair enough, Steve. Norris to play left back. Okay, Norris is an option as well. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Nalo only because I know Nalo's been selected in the last couple of games this season. So maybe Armstrong sees something in him. I may want him to start. So I'm going to go for Nalo, but I'll leave it at that for now. Daz is saying big up to Bonkers. Maybe big up Bonkers. See, the Aussie kid Norris to play left back. Fair enough. I'll leave it as it is. I'm just gonna leave it. But yeah, we'll talk about the lineups when it happens tomorrow. Nick, big up Nick as always. He says 2-0 versus Southampton, 2-1 against Spurs. Big up yourself, Nick, as always. Steve said it came out today. FC have made their first offer to Trent Alexander-Arnold. So this is what I'm saying. A few days ago, we were told there were 3 contract offers, and now we're hearing that it's 1 offer made. So that's what I'm saying, guys. We need to really calm down with this transfer, not even transfer, this contract speculation, because you always look at transfer speculation and you're thinking, yeah, that's not realistic sign. So think of it with the same kind of mind frame or same kind of notion that it could just be clickbait content that's being posted on social media. There's no truth to it. There's no real sources that can tell you what's going on. So just got to sit back and just see what happens and see how everything unfolds. Steve says Reece James on 250k. A player that needs an Uber to get on the pitch and Uber to take him off it. Trent a bargain at 350k. Look, man, he needs an Uber to go to the hospital quite on a regular basis. So if he's only 250k, then you're spot on. 350 is literally the rate that he should be getting. So I don't think it's that wild. Like I don't know. Fans might have a different way of looking at things right now, but I don't think it's crazy to offer him 350k. But that's just my opinion. Steve says Hato said he looks up to Virgil van Dijk and would like to play and learn from him. That's the guy we want, Steve. Hato, that's the guy I want. So if that's the case, please, FSG, I hope you're making notes, because there's a player, they're 18 years of age, who's the captain of Ajax and has all the potential to be a top elite player in world football. Looks up to our captain, who's a Dutchman. He's got another that's playing Gravenberg and another one in Gakpo. So yeah, it makes all the sense to bring Hato to Liverpool. He's a left back that can play centre back, so covers 2 positions there, and he's a baller. The way he plays football, he's definitely a baller. So let's see. That's the one that I'm praying that we sign. If it happens, we'll only time will tell, I guess. Liverpool 12 man, big up Liverpool 12 man always. Guys, please make sure you subscribe to Liverpool 12 man. Always putting out great content. Probably one of the hardest working content creators I see online. So yeah, big up to Liverpool 12 man. Good supporter of the channel and a good friend of mine as well. So big up yourself as always. He wrote big up Bonkers, the Reds in the chat, and our host Oz. Yes, big up as always. Steve says, rumor is Trey is starting tomorrow next to Endo and Morton. Is that true? Oh, I would have played McAllister in this one. I feel like he needs a bit of a run out. But if that's the case, then yeah, Arnold's definitely gone with the heavy rotation, which is unlike him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Steve says Stones on 250k. Yeah, he's always injured as well. Van Dijk on 220. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Yeah, Virgil will definitely get an increase. Is it going to be a huge increase? I'm not too sure. I think Virgil probably deserve at least 300k as well. So yeah. Thing is, we do have those kind of funds available. We've obviously with Thiago, Matip, they were high earners in our team as well. So that wage bracket is still kind of available, and I'm sure there's funds because we didn't really recruit that heavy in the summer. So I feel like it's deals that need to be done. I feel like it's going to take a lot more out of the bank for Liverpool to make replacement for these players. From a business point of view, it makes sense to just give them contract extensions. They're elite in terms of what they're doing right now. They're playing their highest level that they have been over the years. So you might as well keep them on board and then maybe look for future replacements as time goes on. But right now, I think Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Trent are indispensable for this club. So we really need to make sure we get those deals done. But let's see how it goes. Liverpool 12 man says Trent is an incredible talent, but what's a slap in the face is Real Madrid won't pay him 350, much less 270. So he'd change LFC more. He'd charge LFC more to stay than he'd take from Real Madrid to go. Yeah, if that is the case, then you got a question: what is Trent's motive? Is it money or is it just the appeal of going to Real Madrid? If it's the appeal to go to Real Madrid, then it really doesn't matter what they offer, right? Like you said, they'll probably offer close to what we're offering, but I think as fans, we just want clarification now, because if he's swayed, like, there was a media, I can't remember who the source was, a media outlet described it as that he was seduced by Real Madrid, which is a wild word to use. But if he has been swayed to join Real Madrid, look, it is what it is. And I'll be honest, if he goes, then I will be disappointed because I rate him so highly as a player. But as a club, we just got to move on. If he's got aspirations to go elsewhere, then do your thing. As simple as that sounds, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be frustrated if he goes, because I feel like that was one that was probably, I wouldn't even say easier to get done, because he's at an age where he's achieved so much, so he might want a new challenge elsewhere. You just never know. So let's see. Well, I think once we find out what the decision is from Trent, we'll get more clarification, because I don't think it's entirely about money. I think it's more so about ambition. I think Trent might not be impressed with the ownership at the club, where they haven't shown heavy ambition over the years, and that's what's led to Liverpool not winning as many trophies as they should have, if I'm being honest. So let's see how it goes. But it's an interesting point though for 12th man. It really is, because if we offer him what he wants and he still goes to Real Madrid, then it just shows you that his heart wasn't in it to stay. So I'd rather move him on if he doesn't want to stay at the club. There's no point of just keeping on board and forcing it more than anything else. So for me, let's see. I think it's just about playing the waiting game and see what happens in the end. Hopefully it's good news, but don't be too shell-shocked if he decides to move on. Steve says FSG selling Endo next month. His replacement is Bajtic. Bloody hell. FSG keep the Endo money for Linda shopping budget in Milan. Do you know what's crazy? That is an FSG move, isn't it? Bajtic coming back on loan like a new signing, and that PR is always spun around on an annual basis. It gets a bit annoying now. As crazy as it sounds, I would not be really surprised if that happened. I could kind of see it. Let me know what you guys think about Bajtic. I just feel like he's not developed, or he's not the guy that people just assume he is. That's me being brutal. When he broke into the team, our midfield were awful. I'm trying to keep it PG right now. They were really bad. And for him to come in, it didn't take much for someone to stand out in our midfield. So I don't think he's at the level a lot of fans see him as or expected from him. I think he's a decent player. I think he was just pushed in very early in his development to play for our first team, and unfortunately that impacted his following season because he was picking up a lot of injuries, probably down to still growing as a young kid. He's only 18, 19, so he's not fully grown yet, and so he's been getting a lot of muscle injuries and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it could mean Bashtic comes in, but I'd rather keep Endo and then add Bashtic to our squad if we're not making any signings. Not saying that's what I want, but I'd rather just have an extra body available because we are, going through a lot of competitions. We're still fighting on all cylinders. So he would be fifth or sixth choice. So we've got Gravenberch, McAllister, Endo, Jones, Morton, and then Uwe Bashir. So 6 choices in the center of the park. So yeah, I'd be happy with that to have him if we're not signing him. And look, you guys already know my stance with regards to FSG signing players. I don't expect us to sign any players in the January window. So I don't mind seeing Bashir back on loan, but not at the expense of Endo leaving. I just want him to be added to the squad so we have an extra body available and we can rotate a little bit more. So let's see. We'll find out. Obviously, a couple of weeks away from January. Pep Lindner's getting the sack yesterday, I think it was. So yeah, we'll soon get some clarification if he was to return. I'm not even sure if he has a return clause, but we'll see. Steve says Trent, Van Dijk, Salah, last big contracts for them to earn EPL. Players sold and released this summer. Massive wages saved, 100%. Steve says Madrid will give Trent 50 million sign-on fee, and 350k wages. That's the smart move. Madrid get 100 million plus player for 50 million fee. That's what they did with Mbappe, and they gave him a very huge sign-on fee, and that could be the case for Trent as well. So salary-wise, I think he will probably get around that 300 mark, 350. I'm not quite so sure, but he will definitely get a huge salary plus the sign-on fee and plus bonuses as well. So I think financially he can get what he wants from either Real Madrid or Liverpool. It's basically down to his mindset, and I find it so confusing because I watched this interview with Melissa Reddy on Sky Sports a couple of days ago, and he spoke so highly of the coach, where he was very impressed in terms of what he's bringing to training, that he's football mad, and he's very intricate in terms of how he wants his teams to set up. So there's definitely fondness for the new coach there, and it looks like he's buying into what he's envisioning for the club. So when you hear Trent speak in interviews, I feel like he's a very mature person, very articulate and very calculated in terms of how he speaks. He doesn't give a lot away, but he does say very positive things about the club. So I don't know. I've got mixed feelings with Trent in terms of where I see him ending up at the end of the season. It's a strange one, but I wouldn't be one of those fans that jumps on the bandwagon to insult him because there's been no conclusion right now. They're still in talks. So, no point of cussing the player right now when you don't know the full picture. Let's wait and see what his final decision is, and then you can make your judgment there. Because once we know what he's doing, we're entitled to feel how he feels. So right now, you can't really have any feelings or opinions about that move, about that contract extension. That's just my opinion on that one. Steve says FSG serious about keeping Trent, i.e. signing Gappy Zubimendi on 1st Jan and offer Trent 30k plus, and Trent signs new deal on 2nd Jan. Over to cheap FSG. Yeah, I don't think we're signing Gappy, to be honest with you. Steve says our great legends of the past always said every penny Liverpool account should be used on the pitch in the squad to help us win trophies. Not keeping Trent reduces LSC chances. Of course it does. Like, let me know in the chat, who would you replace Trent Alexander-Arnold with in world football? I don't know many players that possess his ability on the ball. So let me know what you guys think, because I have no idea who would even replace him with. Obviously, I can throw some names, but the names that I always throw out, they're not even good enough. As in, they're not adequate replacements in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know what the not infatuation, but I don't know why fans just feel like, oh, we can easily replace him. We can't. Obviously, we won't get like for like of a player like Trent. But who would be the right back that comes in? Conor Bradley, don't get me wrong, I do rate him, but I don't want us to put too much pressure on him where, things just don't pan out. I feel like there needs to be another right back in front of him and then, rotate a little bit more. And then once he's like old enough for a bit more experience and we feel like he's the guy now, then, he's fully experienced because he's gained valuable playing time over the years and he's literally bided his time and he's, fully equipped to be first choice. So I wouldn't want to rush him to be first choice next year. But yeah, let's see. Let's see how it goes. We have Nick. Steve says we have another defensive crisis on our hands and FSG will do F4 next month. Groundhog Day under FSG. Yeah. Steve says 2 local players could leave 2 of the biggest clubs in England, i.e. Trent and Rashford. Yeah, I saw Rashford's comment. He's definitely leaving. For him to say he needs a new challenge, I think he's had enough. And I'll be honest with you, obviously I don't really care about a United player, but I'll speak from a neutral point of view. I think he's making the right move because the disrespect that he gets from his own fans is ludicrous to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve parts of it because he hasn't been consistent. He hasn't really delivered when called upon. But he's being made the scapegoat whenever they lose. And it might not be entirely his fault, but they got to point the finger at someone, and it's always Rashford. So I think it's probably a good thing for him to go away, try another league. I think he'll probably go abroad. I don't think he'll stay in the Premier League, although I feel like maybe a team like Arsenal should try and look into him and maybe sign him as a striker, but that's another conversation. Maybe a move to Saudi. I know it's a bit crazy, but the money's good there. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I do feel like he will leave, and yeah, it makes sense to be fair. He's been highly disrespected and mistreated at that club. Trent, on the other hand, is loved at Liverpool, so he's not getting that same type of treatment. We are always support of Trent Alexander-Arnold. So let's see what happens. Steve says Trent type players don't grow on trees. If they did, every club would have a Trent in their side. Exactly. Steve says there is no Trent 2.0 out there. There isn't. I don't know anyone. So yeah, I don't believe there is either. Steve said Rashford needs to reset his career at another club. He will cook though at Arsenal, Chelsea. I think he'd cook at Arsenal. Even Chelsea would be fine, but I think Arsenal just feels like a good fit for him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happens with that. But yes, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming content, not entirely sure I'll be able to do a watch along tomorrow. But the best thing to do is hit that notification bell. If I'm able to do so, I will go live impromptu style. In terms of shows coming up this week, I will be doing the match preview of Tottenham versus Liverpool on Friday instead of Thursday. I should be joined by a special guest, so look out for that one. And on Sunday, we'll be doing a live watch along plus a match reaction as well. So plenty of shows coming your way this week. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak with you all very, very soon. Goodbye.